when it comes to the healing process, or indeed any spiritual or introspective journey, we have to be quite careful that we don't use it as a way of bypassing our life. I mean, oftentimes we will tell ourselves that we have to wait until the perfect conditions are in place in order to start living the way that we always wanted to live, or that we need to feel better, or that we need to be in a better place mentally or emotionally. And we can end up avoiding and always procrastinating dealing with our own lives, and actually giving ourselves the opportunity to come home to ourselves and apply a radical curiosity and acceptance for what is in this very moment, because ultimately that's all we ever have, the here and the now, and if we continuously base our life on how the future is going to look, if we're always waiting for conditions to be perfect, unfortunately we just end up putting our life on hold, and it's just another form of avoidance. And I mean, in every single moment we should be looking to integrate the practices that we oftentimes pick up as part of a journey of awareness, and they are things like contemplation and introspection and compassion and kindness and non-dual thinking. And we don't just apply those on the cushion or the mat, we apply those in every facet of our lives, and that's what our objective should be. And yes, we tend to go to these practices with a very set agenda. We want to feel that state of equanimity, we want guaranteed calm and peace, and unfortunately that just doesn't happen, because life, it doesn't roll that way. I mean, you're always going to have these ups and downs, the road is always going to meander, and it's about being able to deal with those life's ups and downs, and to sustain the equanimity that you achieve on the mat or on your cushion or in whatever practice it is that you choose, and apply it in all of those circumstances, and try to maintain it in all of those circumstances, so that you're not so easily suffocated by things that go wrong in your life, and you're not so easily affected by every single event that occurs or every single thing that other people do. You can see people from a very compassionate place. You can realize that everybody has their own suffering, and that generally not most things aren't personal, and we do tend to make them personal. We do tend to give ourselves a starring role in other people's lives. We do tend to make it all about us, and we do attach ourselves to a kind of a sense of justification and righteousness, and that's not fair. And unfortunately, it's just a fool's errand. It just keeps us in this negative place, and it really stands in the way of us living a more benevolent life, living a more compassionate life, and being free of all of the bullshit that we create in our minds, and actually engaging with the life that we have, as opposed to continuously looking for a life which we think is going to give us eternal happiness and satisfaction, and is going to make us feel valid in the eyes of others. Ultimately, all that you ever wanted is already within you. It's just that you need to recognize it. You need to accept what you have and work with it, as opposed to fighting against it all of the time. And again, it's this whole concept of curiosity and acceptance and appreciation for what is, because we do tend to take for granted the good things that we have in our life, and we tend to very much focus on what's going wrong as opposed to what's actually going right. And sometimes when you're in the midst of a struggle, I like to say to people, I mean, it's not that you can fix things or that you can apply any instant solution. Sometimes the only thing you can do is try not to make things worse. And we really struggle with that, because we do tend to want the instant gratification, the quick fix, the solution, all of the answers. But sometimes we just have to learn to live with the question, and it's part and parcel of the spiritual journey, or indeed the healing journey, is recognizing that you're not going to be able to solve everything. You're never going to be fully fixed, or you're never going to be in that place of full guaranteed recovery, whatever it is that you're trying to heal from. But it's learning to coexist with yourself as you are, finding acceptance for yourself with all of your shadow and with all of your flaws and the parts of yourself that you aren't particularly happy with, but that very much make up who you are as a unique individual, and finding appreciation for these things, learning to engage with yourself as you are, learning to connect with yourself as you are, and ultimately enabling yourself and facilitating connection with others as a consequence. Because again, it's about being able to respond to life, being able to live every moment, as opposed to waiting for some far out distant future that may never actually arrive. So, if you would like to work with me on any aspect of finding acceptance or self actualization or self realization or dealing with any type of trauma, then get in touch with me on my website. It's fundamental.ie.